Okay, this is Mr. Peterson, and I'm continuing with problems 13 and 14 off this review for Algebra 2. Chapter 3 review, 3.1 through 3.3. And once again, these are just example problems similar to the ones you're assigned. Okay, our goal here is to find the relative maximums and relative minimums of these two functions. We'll start with the one on the left here. And what you're going to do is graph the function. So I'm on my home screen and I'm going to hit the y equals key and type in the functions. I have it written out two different ways you can do it here. You can actually use the exponent key here on the right and type it in like the top line. And then it looks more like the original. It's not quite as fast as doing it the other way, and I have that one shown on the second line here. Now I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that second line once you've kind of digested how you can write that. And let me clear that out. Okay, so let me hit zoom 6 to get the picture showing. And you're going to see one hilltop, which is a maximum y value at that point, and one valley, and that'll be called the minimum height. Now, truthfully, since this goes forever up on the right side and forever down on the left side, there is truly not a maximum height and a minimum height to this function. But you're going to confine your vision to just that one little area right there, in which case the maximum height will be that one. And if you just look at this little part of it here, the minimum height will be that value down at the bottom of the valley. So once you've done that, then you're pretty much set up to find a maximum and minimum. Sometimes this section here is hard to see, like it might be a little tiny area right there. So I'm going to show you how to maybe make it a little bigger and a little easier to work with. I actually don't need to do that on this problem, but I'm going to go to Zoom, choice number 1, which is box. And I'm going to move my cursor to the left and up until it's finally visible. It starts out blinking on the origin, by the way. And I'm going to put it northwest of the origin right there. And when I hit enter, it turns into a box, which then can be expanded. I'm going to expand it using the right arrow and then the down arrow. And what will happen here is that once you've got this box drawn, that's the part that will fill the screen when you hit enter. So I'm going to do that, and you're going to see that part being magnified. Okay, here it is. And we're going to find this maximum height here. I'm going to label it as a max. Height is the y value, so eventually we're going to want to know what the y value is. Okay, the steps are second, calculate, it's right above the trace key. Choice 2. Actually, choice 4. Sorry. And since you're trying to find a maximum, you're going to go, when it says left bound, to the left side of the hilltop. And anywhere in here is good. Hit enter. And now I want you to go to the other side, to the right side of the hill. So just use your arrow keys and go over there. Once you're on the right side, hit enter once. And when it says guess, hit it a second time. So enter, enter. And here's your maximum height. 4.48 is what that rounds to. When you round off, you should indicate that with a dot above the equal sign or possibly a squiggly equal sign. That's probably what you've seen before. Okay, now minimum height, it would be the valley. And you find it almost the same way. You go second, calculate, but you use choice 3 this time. And then you slide over here using your arrow keys, and you want to go to the left side of the valley. Hit enter, and now it wants you to go to the right side of the same valley. Once you're on the right side of the valley, hit enter twice. And that y is a minimum height of -5. And actually, I didn't need the dot above the equal sign since we're not rounding that number. Okay, now I'm going to do the same process with this other function over here. So I've got it already typed in on the y equals line. And you can see I've got it typed in on this line right here. I have a different, faster to type version of it on the next line there. You can see instead of x to the fourth, I just said x times x times x times x. And you just repeatedly hit the x key when you do it that way. Okay, I'm going to clear out that one once I've shown you the whole thing. Let me scroll over and let you see the rest of that. So you can see I finished it out with minus, actually it should be minus 2x, and I didn't notice I had a mistake there. So let me fix the one above it. Okay, so now that they're typed correctly, I'm going to clear out the bottom version. These are actually the same function. And do zoom 6. And here comes my function, the drawing. Okay, looks like I got a little tiny valley there, and a hilltop there, and a valley there. I'm going to throw a box around that part and fill the screen with it so I can see this a little better. Zoom number 1 is box, and your cursor will blink at the origin to start with. It's a little hard to see there. So I'm going to move it to the left and up to about right there. Hit enter, and I'll expand it over using the right arrow first and the down arrow second. And once I've got that interesting part in the screen, I'll hit enter, and that'll fill the screen. So you're going to be dealing with one maximum value here, that hilltop, and 2 valleys here, so 2 minimum values. So I'm going to set that up over here. Max height, it's always y. Minimum heights and maximum heights are both heights, and it's the y that is the height. So there we go. I'm ready for the maximum. Second, calculate, it's above the trace key, max, and you want to move your cursor to the left side when it says left bound. Left side of the hill, now the right side of the hill. Once you've hit enter and it's asking for the right bound, hit enter twice and it should find that highest point, 3.20. Now I'm going to find this valley on the left over here. Go second, calc choice 3 for a minimum height, and we want to be on the left side of the valley. You can see my cursor blinking over there now. And then the right side of the valley, hit enter twice. And that is a height of 2. Now we're not rounding, so I really didn't need the dot above the equal sign. Second, calculate, choice 3, there's another valley here, minimum height. So I'm going to scroll over until I'm on the left side of this valley. Any of these areas, any of this area would work, but I'm going to go down there. Left side, scroll to the right side. Once you've hit enter and it is asking for the right bound, hit enter twice. And now you've got another one here, negative 2.45. You have to make sure you're rounding correctly there. And that's how you do problems 13 and 14 on your review. So I hope these 2 examples make it so that you can figure this out on your own.